On the second floor of the hotel, Supervisor Bob Vinson was on night duty when he noticed a strange-looking machine in the corridor. This machine had not been there a little while ago. This floor of the hotel was dedicated to employees, and at this late hour of the night, seeing such an unusual machine made the supervisor feel that something was wrong. It was a metallic box with a smaller box connected on top of it. The front part resembled a strange control panel. The control panel had a total of 28 switchable keys. At that moment, the time was 6:30 in the morning. This incident took place at Harvey's Lake Tahoe Hotel and Casino in Nevada, which was about to become national news headlines within the next 24 hours. But for Bob Vinson, the strange machine was not the only odd thing. He had been on duty almost the entire night, yet he had not heard any sound of a machine being placed in the corridor. Whoever had left this machine there had placed it on top of 4 wooden blocks, pressed into the carpet of the corridor. This indicated that the machine was quite heavy. What made the situation even stranger was that the locks on the doors surrounding the machine had been rendered useless, sealed shut with super glue. Bob Vinson was still trying to process everything when he noticed an envelope lying next to the machine. It was addressed to the Harvey management. Harvey's Lake Tahoe is a well-known casino and hotel in the American state of Nevada. At the time of this incident, it was an 11-story building with 197 rooms. When Bob Vinson found the envelope on the second floor, he immediately ran to call security. Soon after, the police and fire department were also summoned. At first, no one dared to pick up the envelope, fearing it might be some kind of trap. Later, using a broomstick, they carefully moved it before opening it. Inside the envelope was a 3-page document typed on a typewriter. At the top of the document, a headline read, "Warning for Hotel Management and Bomb Squad." Below the headline, it was written that the bomb should not be moved under any circumstances. It contained a mechanism so sensitive that even the slightest movement, equivalent to the width of a hair, would detonate it within milliseconds. It also warned against trying to neutralize the bomb with water or gas, as it had float switches inside. If such an attempt was made, the internal air pressure of the machine would increase, causing it to explode. Additionally, the screws on top of the machine were directly connected to the trigger. If any screw was turned even 1/4, 25% of a rotation, the bomb would detonate. In simple terms, this bomb was so delicate that even the slightest disturbance could set it off, at least according to what was written in the letter. At that time, around 600 guests were asleep in their rooms inside the hotel. The police immediately evacuated the hotel and instructed everyone to move to the parking lot. Then, the bomb squad was called in. Their first step, thoroughly examine the machine. The bomb was enclosed in a 1/2-inch thick steel box, neatly welded from all sides. Even the minor imperfections on the surface had been smoothed out using auto body filler, the same material used for repairing car exteriors. Each side of the box had bubble levels attached, likely to ensure that the machine remained perfectly level. All these details indicated that the contents of the letter might actually be true. The letter further stated that the bomb could not be defused by any means, not even by the person who had built it. It contained automatic timers that would detonate it within 24 hours, but only if the hotel management failed to follow the instructions given in the letter. Given the seriousness of the situation, law enforcement agencies and the bomb squad avoided taking any risks that could trigger the explosion. Their first step, check the box for fingerprints, but they found none. Next, they photographed the device from all angles before using specialized X-ray equipment to examine its internal structure. Was it something dangerous, or just a bluff? While waiting for the X-ray results, they placed a stethoscope against the box's surface and carefully listened. There was definitely something inside. A faint sound indicated that something was continuously moving within the box. The letter had claimed that the box contained TNT, but how much? One part of the letter hinted at its potential destructive power, stating that if the bomb detonated, even the casino across the road would suffer significant damage. It also included a warning, which translated to, "You're advised to evacuate people at least 1,200 feet away from this bomb." Taking this threat seriously, the police evacuated nearby buildings, shut off the hotel's gas pipeline, and casino employees began relocating millions of dollars in cash to a safer place. Meanwhile, FBI agents arrived on the scene, establishing a command and control center in a nearby building to oversee the operation. The tension was visible on the faces of the police and law enforcement officials. They realised the gravity of the situation was even more serious than it appeared. But the just big question was, what were the bombers' demands? The letter stated that they wanted $3 million in cash. However, there were strict conditions. The bills had to be $100 denominations. They must not have any markings. No chemical treatments or tracking substances should be applied. The letter also contained a warning. If you try to be clever, we will not provide instructions on how to defuse the bomb. If the demand is not met within 24 hours, the automatic timers will detonate it on their own. But the as biggest mystery remained: who was supposed to receive the money, and how? When the X-ray film was processed and returned from the lab, the faint black and white image unconfirmed parts of the threatening letter's claims. The small control box on top of the machine was indeed wired to its screws, just as the letter had described. Inside the box there was a straight tube. It appeared to be a tilt sensor, and a float valve was also clearly visible. Additionally, the lower section of the box was filled with multiple cylinders. At that moment, the police had no idea what these cylinders contained. But one thing was certain: the person who wrote the letter was not playing a prank. This machine was a real bomb. As time passed, the 24-hour deadline was quickly running out. With no other choice, the authorities decided to comply with the demands. The 3-page letter also included instructions for the money delivery. The cash would be delivered via helicopter. The pilot was instructed to land near the LTA building at Lake Tahoe Airport at 11 p.m. The helicopter must face south. After landing, the pilot was to exit and stand near the fence, where he would receive a call with further instructions. The helicopter must carry only the pilot, no armed guards, no second passenger. To execute this plan, FBI agent Cook started the FBI helicopter, loaded with $3 million in cash. However, the cash loaded onto the helicopter was entirely fake, consisting of counterfeit bills. Additionally, an armed agent was hidden behind the pilot's seat. The gunman was instructed to protect the FBI agent at all costs. At exactly 11 p.m, the FBI agent landed at the designated location, stepped out and stood near the fence. Within moments, a public phone booth near the fence started ringing. When the agent answered the call, a voice on the other end gave precise instructions. Under the phone booth's table, there is a letter. Pick it up and read it. The caller was extremely cautious. They didn't stay on the public phone for more than 5 seconds. They knew that the longer the call, the higher the chances of being traced. This new letter was addressed to the pilot. It contained the following instructions: return to the helicopter and use a flashlight to illuminate every corner of the cockpit. Don't forget, we are watching you. Take off and head toward Highway 50. After exactly 15 minutes, a flashing strobe light would be visible in the forest to the right. Upon reaching the strobe light, the pilot must position the helicopter facing south. The pilot was instructed to land at the designated spot, where he would find another letter hanging from a tree. Following the exact instructions, the pilot illuminated the helicopter cockpit strategically, ensuring that the hidden gunman remained out of sight. Then, he took off and headed toward the strobe light's expected location. However, upon reaching the designated area, the pilot saw no strobe light, just dark, dense forest. For the next hour, he circled the area, hoping to spot any movement or signal, but nothing appeared. Realizing that he was at the wrong location, the pilot returned to the airport and landed. Later, the authorities discovered that they had misread the instructions. The actual drop-off point was miles away from where they had searched. To send a message to the mastermind, the police broadcasted a news segment on TV, stating that there was a miscommunication regarding the location. When the criminal mastermind realized that the police were still willing to deliver the money, he made a call to the police station. His new instruction was simple: flip switch number 5 on the machine inside Harvey's hotel to the up position and wait for the next call. Perhaps he was buying time to devise a new plan, which is why he instructed them to flip the dummy switch up. However, by this point, it was too late. It was now 6:40 a.m, meaning the bomb had been inside the hotel for more than 24 hours. Yet despite the deadline passing, the bomb had not detonated, which was a positive sign. Meanwhile, inside the command and control center, the FBI, police, bomb squad, and fire department had made a crucial estimation. The bomb likely contained a maximum of 1,000 pounds of TNT, based on their calculations, if it detonated inside the hotel. The building's pillars would remain intact, though the interior of the floor would be severely damaged. With this in mind, they devised a plan. A small explosive device was strategically placed next to the control box. The goal? If this plastic explosive went off, it would disable the control mechanism, preventing the TNT from detonating. With everything set, nearby buildings were evacuated, and the bomb disposal team prepared for detonation. It was now August 27th, early afternoon, 3:45 p.m, and the entire crowd stood a kilometre away, watching the scene unfold while news outlets recorded the event. Suddenly the command, "Fire in the hole," echoed. The remote control button was pressed. The machine lying in the corridor shook violently and detonated, causing an explosion. However, as mentioned in the letter, there was no TNT inside. Later, upon inspection, it was revealed that the bomb contained dynamite instead of TNT, which produces a much smaller explosion compared to TNT. But the biggest question still remained: who planted this bomb? After an extensive investigation, it was discovered that the person who planted the bomb in Harvey's hotel and casino was a 58-year-old man named John Burgess. His two sons had also helped him execute this plan. John Burgess had lost his entire life savings in this very casino, and that's when he decided to devise a clever plan to extort money from the casino owner. Later, investigators uncovered an even bigger revelation. John Burgess' real plan was not just to take the cash, but also to hijack the helicopter. Had the pilot reached the correct location and stepped out of the helicopter into the jungle to retrieve the new envelope, John Burgess and his sons would have escaped with the helicopter to a location where they had already parked their car. John Burgess was sentenced to 20 years in prison, while his sons were pardoned in exchange for assisting the police. In 1996, John Burgess died of liver cancer. After this incident, the owner of Harvey's hotel renovated the building and relaunched it with a new design and more rooms. And that brings us to the end of this incredible true story. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. Your support helps us bring more amazing stories like this to life. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next amazing video.